Afternoon, everybody. How's it going? It's Monday, September 9th, 2019. This is a baseball only video. There'll be a football only video coming later today about the Monday night games in the weekend, but let's talk about baseball for now and the MLB picks algorithm. Let's talk about today. It's a shorter schedule, so we can actually go over all the games. Let's try to make this video like 5 minutes. All right, let's do it. So, today, we'll start off with today and then we'll talk about the past and why I think about today. It likes these 6 games. One thing I want to talk about extensive here is this Arizona game against the Mets, against DeGrom, Pittsburgh, and Oakland over Houston. So, do we agree with this? There are 4 games above bet score 3 here. Do we agree with Cleveland, Arizona, Milwaukee, and Pittsburgh in a round robin or something? Well, sort of. Not really, but let's talk about it. So, Atlanta, Philadelphia first. Game up here. Philly's line's not that great. It looks like a very close game. Almost anybody plus 1.5 would be a good idea. That's all I can say about that game. Too tough to pick. The algorithm says stay away because of the lines. Milwaukee and Miami. Miami's a really bad team for the most part. Occasionally they explode for some runs like they did last night against Kansas City, I think. It can happen, but Minnesota, even at negative 215, it thinks this is a solid play for like a parlay or something on the money line. I pretty much agree with that, even though Jordan Lyles' pitching area is kind of rough, but it's actually kind of a stay away at the negative 215 line. But they should win. All right, so Arizona and the Mets. Now, this is super interesting. Here you've got an Arizona team that's extremely hot. They've won 10 games in their last 15 days, if that formula is right there, which is probably is. And they're like in playoff contention or wild card or something. They're doing really well. And they're going up against DeGrom here, who you can see he's got the 8-8 record. His ERA is 2.76, but he has kind of been coming into his own lately. The Mets are not playing well. So to get a team like Arizona, even though you're against a really strong pitcher here, they're at plus 210. That's insanity. Of course I would take them. Merrill Kelly's not a bad pitcher. He's got a losing record, but the Mets are not hitting. Their lineup factor's a little stronger than Arizona, but Arizona, I'm just going on streak with Arizona here, and especially at 210. So what you should do in a parlay or round robin situation with this game is take Arizona plus 1.5 because it's probably going to be about even money, maybe even minus 110. Because at plus 1.5, the Mets, if this game goes into extra innings and the Mets somehow, because it's low, super low scoring, and the Mets win late, they probably only win by 1, and Arizona plus 1.5 hits. Also, I back it up a little bit, Arizona, just money line because it's a great line and they're playing awesome. So I think that's the biggest thing of note today is that line, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Or it makes sense because of DeGrom and the money that's just naturally on DeGrom. But this team is playing to overpower that type of pitcher in this situation. So I don't mind what the algorithm's doing there. I totally agree with it. Pittsburgh and San Francisco, because Pittsburgh's line is good, you've got a similar guy like Baumgartner who has a great reputation like DeGrom because of years he had years ago. And he's also still a good pitcher. So it likes San Francisco, but the line's just awful. And it thinks Pittsburgh's going to win this game and outscore them because of their lineup factor. So keep an eye on that line. But I don't like it as much as I like Arizona against the Mets because they're playing so much better. Cubs have been iffy lately, but San Diego's not a very good team. So I can see this is okay, I guess, to take the Cubs here. It's listen to the algorithm, don't listen to me. The Yankee-Boston game, that one looks like a lot of fun. Really good pitching matchup. I mean, look at how these are the best two. Actually, all these pitchers right here are really good. Look at everybody. Look at all that green down there. Paxton, Rodriguez, Fears, or Fires if you prefer, and Greinke and Bieber. These are all good pitchers, which means that's why Cleveland's the number 1 pick of the day at minus 174 because it's the Biebs against Sandoval. And everything is in favor of Cleveland in this game. There's nothing that favors. Everything here is in favor all the way across. So I can see why that's a number 1. If you had 1 pick of the day, I agree with the algorithm after looking at that. It's got to be Cleveland. Now, the Angels mess around with pitchers a lot, and lineups aren't in yet, so keep that in mind. But I agree with it. And also likes Oakland because of the line, although Houston because of Fires. Yeah, Oakland plus 1.5 maybe, even though Houston just put up 3 touchdowns yesterday against Detroit, who they play. They won 21-1 yesterday. Let's look at results for a second. Yeah, they beat Seattle. Seattle's just falling off a cliff, as my buddy was saying yesterday. So, all right. I mean, that's enough baseball for the day. I got to move on to football. But if you're gonna do more than one thing today, do Arizona plus 1.5. Bet the farm, I guess, on the money line with Oakland, even though the lineups aren't in yet. That one doesn't have a good line, so if you're going to stay away from something, it's this. Straight bets on Pittsburgh, straight bet Oakland plus 1.5 is a good idea, and this is not an excellent line, but they're supposed to win. So I think you probably hit 5 out of these 6. I bet you Milwaukee loses, maybe Arizona loses to the Mets, but loses by 1 because they can't score. I think it's going to be a good day. So we're out for now, and we're moving on to football. If you'd like to subscribe to this baseball file and get, I'm not going to be doing videos all week and stuff. You want to get the stuff before the games happen. You can see that we are definitely really doing well lately, like the last month or so. Here's the last week for September. This is a lot of games, 99 games, and we're up 3%. But if you look at the premium games that are above bet score 3, we're up 11%. Like I tell everyone at the beginning of the year, truth in advertising, I said this file gets you between 7 and 11%. It takes a while for the stats from the season to get in here, but once it does, your August, your Septembers, your Octobers, your playoffs, it's fantastic. And what happened here from August 15th, 4%, 5 units. But you can see that the trend is up, and even every game we're up 5%. Like we've really picked it up. It's been doing better with underdogs. You can see that you got a nice string here, 5 days of winning in a row. Just one terrible day here, and I think we had another terrible day somewhere in the middle. Yeah, there's a 4-unit day, but it's really doing awesome. So if you want to subscribe, it's worth it. You're probably going to make money with it, as I imagine everyone who's using it is. I don't get to bet every day. I don't even get to bet. I bet like once a week, maybe. It depends where I am, and I haven't been receiving most of the benefits of this. Although I did during this week. I did do a little betting over here. I think I was back in West Virginia. So yeah. Anyway, please subscribe because I'll spend more time on it and develop it even further, along with all the other algorithms. We're out for now. May all our picks be winning.